Well, hello, folks, and welcome to another live broadcast. And I'm Elwin, and I'm going to be your host this evening. And we have a good complement of people here tonight to talk about the trails. I just want to welcome all those that showed up or signed in or logged in and became a member since the last video. I really want to special welcome you people and participate in the chat tonight. Send a comment in, and it's beneficial because our last segment, which was 2 weeks ago, there was a bunch of people who put their comments in, and they're going to be in for a prize. So, and we got another draw coming up. We're going to do the draw tonight for the last 2 weeks, and we got another prize coming up, and Jeffrey is going to tell us all about that. So, just want to say welcome. We're broadcasting again on Facebook and YouTube. And if you're watching this in the replay, still send a comment in and ask a question and participate tonight. Ask lots of questions. It's going to be interesting. We sat for a little bit the other night, and boy, I tell you, we should have went live then because there was lots of good information that was shared. And likewise, tonight it's going to be the same thing. We have reps from the Newfoundland Trailway, the Canadian Trails Federation, Labrador Winter Trails, and our Snowmobile Federation across the island here. So what I'll do first is I'll bring on the guys, the team from Ride the Rock. And we'll have a little short conversation. We'll do our ad or our placement then. And then when I bring the guys on, somewheres along the way, we'll do the draw. And there's one thing you're going to notice that most of us go to the same barber once we get all on here. And you'll pick out the ones that are younger because, they got some nice looking hair. So,
Hi guys, Jeffrey here, Ride the Rock Adventures.
There you go. That's the four ladios there, or three ladios.
Hi, everybody.
So where do you guys, what do you do this week? What are you up to? Or the last couple of weeks, what were you up to?
No, I wouldn't up there very much.
We got one guy who works and we got two guys who work, right? Jeffrey, do you work, Jeffrey? I'm not sure, but anyway.
I'm not gonna comment on that. All of a sudden, I became speechless.
Oh, there you go. And two of us are enjoying all the money, the fruits of the labor that the guys are putting in for their pension. So we're getting some benefit. So you two, you better keep working.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So we're going to have a good night tonight.
Yes.
We
got some great guests on tonight here from the different trail organizations. It's going to be awesome.
Yes.
And it's only going to be awesome if our members put in those plugs, put in those questions, put in those comments, and get on the ball, guys, because I know you got questions, and I know you got answers that you think is correct, but these are the gentlemen that can correct those, because I thought a lot of things too about the trail and who was allowed on and whatnot and all kinds of different things. But these guys got all the answers. Hopefully they do anyhow. So you put the questions up. We do have a couple gentlemen there that's willing to take a bunch of questions, and we'll go from there for sure. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah. So here we got our first little thing that's going to happen here. So I blacked them guys out for 1 second. And we have There you go. We had to get that out of the way right at the beginning. And like Jeffrey always says, there's bills that need to be paid and support. And that's how we get some support. So, and some of the gifts that, we're going to give away and that kind of stuff. Now, I'll do one other thing here now while I'm right here before we get too far. And that is to let you know what's going to happen in this coming week here. And I just put this up here for 2 seconds. Get rid of that. All right. So I don't know. Can you guys see that? I'm way in the back. Oh, man. Let me just see if I can pull that over a little bit. There we go. And what I'll do is I'll take me off the screen because you can hear me anyway. And so on April the 14th, I call it Kane's Quest, and I know we were talking to Eldon the other day from Labrador, and he's right into Kane's Quest, but it's an island style. Scott Franklin, he told us a little bit on Ride the Rock about his trip from St. John's to Bombay, I think. And anyway, he's going to come on with a couple of his buddies, and so that's going to be a good show. Like I think they put 800 clicks or something like that, or pretty close to 800 kilometers. And then on the 28th, I said that we'd have an open mic. And the reason why I kind of designated to that, because lots of times we say we're going to bring somebody on and an hour flies by and we never bring nobody on. So we figured the four of us would just come on and we'll open it up to the floor and you guys can come on and show us some pictures and, tell us a story or two, and we'll have some interaction. And then on May the 12th, I asked for this to be interactive. So if you could give us some suggestions of what you'd like to see, and we can go from there. So without further ado, I'll bring the boys back on here. There we go. And let me just get rid of that other one here. Remove from the screen. There we go. Like I said the last time, we got everybody big again. I was used to growing up with a rotary phone, and boy, I'll tell you.
It shows.
Yeah, I got too many spins going on it. Yeah. So anyway, without too far in the future here, we'll start bringing on some of the guys. And when you come on, we'll give you a chance to say who you are, who you're associated with, and tell us a little. We got a little cracking going on there, and Jamie, you got your mic still muted, I believe. So. Okay. Yeah, so like I said, there's some technical. Just before we started live here, I had to reboot my computer because I had a sentence finished, and then 2 seconds later, the video started coming through. So technical problems always happen. So anyway, we'll start with you, Craig, and tell us about yourself and who you represent.
Yeah, my name's Craig Mason. I'm actually live over on the west coast in Stephenville area. I'm on here tonight to represent the Newfoundland Snowmobile Federation. I'm a director on the NLSF board, as well as I also am the president of the local Bay St. George Club here. And I'm also sitting on the chair of the ATV committee within the NLSF that's looking at branching out and getting more involved in the ATV side of the industry.
Oh, good.
Wonderful.
Good. And Rick, I think maybe let's see, here we go. I took them right off altogether. Rick, I think maybe some of the cracking might be coming from your mic. I'm not 100% sure, but
I just use an iPhone, no microphone, just a built-in microphone. So.
It's an iPhone. There you go. It's not an Android. Okay, tell us about who you are and what you represent. And
okay, well, I'm Rick Nosely, and I'm the president of Newfoundland Trail Council, which I guess that's what I'm speaking on behalf of tonight. But I'm also president of Avalon Trailways, and I'm the vice president of the Canadian Quad Council.
Oh, good. Glad you're on. And we got Greg here. Oh, look, I removed him again, man. I'll get you up there, Greg. There we go.
Evening. My name is Greg Wheeler. I'm the president of Grand River Snowmobile Club up here in Goose Bay, Labrador, and I'm also the chair of Labrador Winter Trails.
Cool. And well, I won't remove you, Jamie. I'll put you on.
There we go. That's easy. That's better. Yeah. I'm Jamie Warren. In my day job, I'm the executive director for the Newfoundland Trailway Council, but on my volunteer level, I'm the vice president for the Canadian Trails Federation across the country. Maybe we can get into some more details later if you want, or I can do it now. It's up to you guys.
No, we'll get into it a little bit.
Perfect.
Good.
Okay, Ellen, before we go any further, I'd just like to say to our members that are watching, try to keep your questions a little bit short, because if they're relevant questions, we like to display them on the screen. And there's a couple of questions, comments that's on the side there now, and they're really, really long. So we won't be able to actually display them live on the screen because of the. I've never done it, but there's a lot of text, and you won't see.
I'll just show you. I'll just show you what it's like, and is this?
Yeah. So by the time we reads all that, the show will be over.
Yeah. But
right. So try to keep your questions direct, to the point, and a little shorter if at all possible. And
but like these two that are there right now, what we'll do is we'll certainly get you answers for it, and we'll make sure that it's addressed.
Yes.
But if you could shorten them up a little bit and send them in again, that's fine too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So with all the different organizations here, like I said, it's these are the folks that makes it possible for us to be able to get on a snowmobile or a ATV or a UTV and go up in the country and enjoy the country. And they put in a lot of effort to make sure that we enjoy what we do. And so first of all, I got to thank every one of you for the task that you guys do and the leadership that you're showing in your organization. So kudos for you. Now let's open it up a little bit about how this past season went. I don't know when your season start or cut off, but could you give us some idea about successes that you had in this last year, let's say? And we'll start with Craig, if you mind, if you want to go on that.
Sure. We don't really have a set season, obviously, because it's all our grooming and everything is going to depend on our snow conditions and our temperatures and our weather. This year, obviously, we did start a little bit late, doing as that there wasn't much snow across the island until the early part of February. We did end our season on Monday due to the warming temperatures that we have forecast for the next 2 weeks, and the fact that a lot of our trails, the brooks and some of the streams and the creeks have opened up, and it's just basically a safety concern for a lot of people. And so basically our season is usually just runs from whenever it starts snowing and it's safe to get the groomers out to usually, around this time, maybe the first week of April, around Easter or something like that, if weather conditions warrant, right?
Right on.
Yeah,
Craig,
this year is a different year too, right? This is not really a normal winter for us.
No, it hasn't been a normal winter for us at all. We did put in, across the whole island, we put in 4,000 hours of grooming on our trails this winter.
Okay. Yeah.
Our average over a couple of years span is about 4,500. That's our average. So we're about 500 hours below average this year. And that's not bad considering how we did start, in February, when some years we started in December, other years we started in January.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Good. Craig, how many clubs are there? Do you know that off the top of your head? Well, I shouldn't say off the top of your head because I always get that off.
There's nothing on top of my head.
So how many clubs are represented?
Honestly, I'm not 100% sure, but I think we're up around 17 or something like that across.
Oh, okay.
And somewhere around
so every club has a president and an executive and a group of volunteers that help out in that particular area, correct?
That's correct. Some clubs, obviously, like any organization, are a little bit stronger and bigger than others, but all our clubs are volunteer-based, and we do try to have a full executive in there and a groomer coordinator, and the only paid positions really in our local organizations would be our groomer operators, who are paid. We do have volunteer operators, but we try to have a paid operator in every club as well. We do have about 3,500 kilometers of groomed trail across the island. About 800 of that kilometers is the rail bed. So the rail bed is a portion of our trails, but there is still another 2,600 kilometers outside of that are all LTO trails that we groom on a regular basis throughout the season.
Okay.
So, Craig, could you just tell me what I know what the answer is, but only recently. But LTO stands for.
An LTO is a trail that we're allowed to. We're allowed to use it for a certain for a specific amount of time.
Right.
Like the trailway, we're allowed to groom it from I think it's December till April or something like that, where we have to apply and get government approval and everything to be on those trails.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not. Our insurance doesn't allow us to groom anything that's not LTO registered trail.
Yeah. So that's what license to operate is it?
Yeah. Yeah. So if it's not an LTO trail, then we're not allowed to groom it due to our insurance reasonings, which is why any new trails or anything that any club ever wants, they have to go through the proper process and get those trails LTO. We can't just start driving a groomer and take it, right?
Right on. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, good.
That's good. So you got a little compliment here from Joey there. Yeah. Craig, can you guys see the comments on the side or not?
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay. Good. All right. So I had another question come in there a second ago to Craig. So your groomer operators, are they paid or are they volunteered or?
Most of our operators, every club has a paid operator. However, some clubs do have volunteer operators as well. Now, even our volunteer operators, they have to be properly licensed and everything for insurance reasons, and they have to have their first aid, and they have to have the traction license and all that. But we do have volunteers and we do have paid operators. The majority of the work is done by paid operators across the island.
Okay, good. So Jeffrey, you're going to be putting the text up or what?
Yeah, just getting them through them. Yeah.
Yeah, because last time I put them up, we were in sync. So I'll leave that to you. I'll leave that to you. So
yeah, I did notice a question on the side there from Rob and Denise Perry.
Yes.
That came in around 7:40 regarding alders and vegetation control along the trailway. Just to touch base on that, the NLSF, we are aware that the alders are growing in on the trailway and some of our other trails. Over the last year and a half, 2 years, we have worked on different remedies for that. We have purchased equipment. This past year, we purchased a front-end loader that has an articulating blade on it that can go down the rail bed in the summertime when there is no snow on the trail, so we can get a better cut on the alders. And it articulates down, and it will cut off the alders on both. We can do both sides of the trails, up one way, back the other way. We did that out in a couple areas this year. We are working with Trailway to try to get it feasible for it to work. We're just working the bugs out of the whole system and everything right now. We did do part of the spur line in Stephenville, and it worked out awesome. We were able to get the trail even wider with the groomer this year, being that we had the alders and everything all cut down. Does leave a little bit of a mess behind, there's no doubt about it. So it takes volunteers to go out afterwards and take all that brush and clear it all off and out of the way. But
I did some.
We are working on it. we are well aware of it, and we agree that it needs to be done, and we have invested in the equipment and stuff to try to move that whole process forward.
Okay. And one thing that Robin just mentioned was about the tourism, and this whole setup that we got with Ride the Rock and this talk show is we're wanting to encourage tourism, and there's a lot of folks that watch this on the reruns because they're all out west or in Ontario, and they're former Newfoundlanders. Actually, there's people in Nova Scotia that would like to come and run our trail system. And in a little while, I'll put up a map and just show all the trail systems that's around. And I don't believe that they're all on the map. So, but anyway. So you mentioned about the trailways, so that's a little bit of a segue into to Rick. and you can tell us about what you guys have been engaged with in this last year, let's say.
Well, I'm glad you guys can hear me all right now. Everything good?
Yep. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad you mentioned alders because alders, if we could all grow our hair and our lawns as quick as alders grow, we'd be great. And of course, it's a big challenge for trailways as well. Jamie and I have many a conversation with it. I know the Snowmobile Federation are doing it. We've been working on doing it, trying to get the right solution, trying to do it properly. Like, alders, to the unseen eye and just to the inexperienced people, you think it's just a matter of going in and cutting the alders. And of course, the Snowmobile Federation has the problem of if they cut alders in the wintertime, they leave spikes in the summertime. So, that's a problem that they do well in addressing, but, they can't cut in the wintertime like it would be perfect if you could go with your groomer and cut the alders at the same time. So, that's a problem. Alders grow back, which is a problem. So, that's a big thing, a big part of what we do. This year, we've been very successful with a bridge replacement project. Took up a lot of our time. COVID certainly slowed it down. We'll be finishing a big part of it, or the back part of it, in the spring, hoping for a phase 2. It's been a challenge. We started out with very expensive to do in the beginning. We're looking at, we budgeted at about $1,000 per meter to do the bridge to the standard that we're required to do on the trailway. Along came the COVID issue and lumber costs, and right now we're in the vicinity of about $1,300 per meter. And
Wow.
that's as you can appreciate, that's a lot of coin when we got closing in on 3 kilometers of bridging. So it's a challenge, always been a challenge. And then throw in the fact this year, Mother Nature and beavers have created a lot of headaches. We've had some washouts, weather related, beaver related, and it seems like we're like just putting our fingers in the dike trying to stop it. We get one washout done, we sit back, we're proud, and then we get another rain event, and it's another one and another one. Hopefully that won't repeat. We're trying to do it in a rather be proactive than reactive. Trying to get some beaver strapped, trying to identify problems, but identifying problems, having the money to fix the problems, having the resources, it certainly, there's always balls in the air, and I guess that's just the nature of being in the trail business.
Yeah. So on the resources end, like who do you rely on to help out? Is it volunteers in from the Snowmobile Association clubs or what?
They've been helpful. There's no question about it. Government has been doing great. When we can get people out, we've been hiring contractors to do the work. When we're doing our bridges, it's paid contractors as per the project.
Oh, okay. Good. And so there's the Trailways and then the Snowmobile Association on the island, and down in Labrador, Greg, you don't have the luxury of having a railroad bed that you can rely on. And so tell us, first of all, give us a little history on how that took place. Like there's a bit of a separation, like you were on there a couple of weeks ago with us, and it's kind of news to us that, there's trails in Labrador. And now I knew that there was trails down there, but we don't hear much about it. And so tell us about the Labrador winter trails.
Labrador Winter Trails was started about 1998. At the time, there was 4 clubs: Grand River Snow Club in Goose Bay, White Wolf Snow Club in Lab City, and the Bass Whalers down on the south coast. There was also a small club started in Churchill Falls, but that's since closed because the Churchill Falls is a mining town, so they didn't really have the volunteer support and stuff there to maintain it. But altogether, Goose Bay, the Grand River has about 350 kilometer trails. White Wolf has just over 500. Bass Whalers, I think it's somewhere between 200 and 300 kilometers of trails.
No, that's quite a bit, actually.
Our season normally starts right around Christmas. Yeah, it's not too bad. There was a trail leaking Goose Bay and Lab City, but it's a lot of rough terrain between us and Churchill Falls, and it was just not feasible to maintain. So we basically right now Goose Bay grooms out so far as Lower Brook, which is about 50, 60 kilometers up the road. White Wolf grooms back down towards Churchill, almost to Esker, which is a couple hundred kilometers. And the Bass Whalers, they maintain the trail network between the small towns down on the South Coast.
Okay.
Our season normally starts around Christmas time, just before. There's been a few seasons where we start around November, and our groomer was out today.
Oh. So you didn't. You're still.
The trails around town now. This weather system we got coming out.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said, so you guys are still active with the grooming and all that's going on, eh? Now, Gregory?
Yeah, we're trying to maintain our trails around town and stuff so people can get down the
Great.
We've got this big system coming up now this weekend that's going to be above zero temperatures and looks like some wet snow and rain. So we're getting pretty close to the end of our season there now.
Yeah. So, as the Labrador Trails Association, do you guys, like all the different clubs, feed into that organization, or do you meet and say you sit and discuss what's happening in the Labrador, the White Wolf, or in your area? Do you guys like have a meeting a year to discuss that, or what? Or is it how does that work?
Yeah, but all three clubs kind of operate on their own. We all have our own executive and volunteers. White Wolf is the only club that actually has paid operators. The Grand River and Bass Whalers operate totally on volunteer drivers operators. Once or twice a year, the three clubs they get together and have a talk about how their season is going and any problems, any issues. We kind of share knowledge on the snow and conditions coming, because usually the storms hit Lab City before they hit us. So we kind of collaborate on keeping everybody's groomers operating. We kind of collaborate on different issues too, right?
Yeah. Now, do you? How much contact do you have with Rick and Craig? Do you guys meet a year or meet once a year, or do you guys collaborate on, from the island to Labrador, or do you just kind of keep things separate?
First time meeting them.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
We work at the executive level. We work a lot with Snowmobile Federation and the island, but certainly not in Labrador. So pleased to meet you.
No. Yes, sir. Same to you.
This was all a reunion thing we're trying to get going here.
Yeah. We all met in the barbershop.
Yeah, there you go. We all met in the barbershop. Right.
Right on.
Maybe we should be getting together and talking about some of the things. We all have the similar issues with brush cutting on the trails, and one of our volunteers just found this thing a company in Quebec makes. It's an attachment to put on the front of the groomer. It has 6 blades. It raises vertically and cuts the brush along the trail. So we're looking at pursuing something along that line.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing, because collaboration and learning, and like what's good for you, what's not good for us, and that kind of stuff. That works, So.
Yeah, we've got some of those blades on the front of groomers that you're talking about. I would recommend that you give our office a call on Monday and maybe have a little chat with the guys in the office. Just they can probably give you a lot more hands-on experience with it, because I know we have used them this winter, and go from there. I know we haven't had luck with them, but I don't know what model you're looking at, what model they're using, but it'd be worth you giving them a call.
Yeah, good.
So Yeah, so I think it's a good time for Jamie to jump in here now, because we could lose you in a minute. We get too deep in conversation. And as I discovered Monday, Jamie is one that I'm going to be sort of leaning to, because he's more into the summer side-by-side thing, with the trails. So as most know, that I don't snowmobile, although I promote it quite a bit and promote our province, not only in summer but winter as well. And so I'm going to cut Elvin off here now and give Jamie the floor.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I have two roles, because I'm the executive director with Newfoundland Trailway Council, so I work directly with Rick, as well as on the national level with the Canadian Trails Federation, which a lot of people probably haven't heard of.
Correct.
The National Trails Federation is a representative from each province, and we sit and we talk about issues, concerns, funding proposals. We've been successful a number of years ago and had a $25 million project approved right across the country. We talk about issues around how are other people dealing with brush. Is there any potential to spray? How do you cut them? When's the best time to cut them? So, because we're not the only one with an abandoned rail line in the country. And
We're
we all have. It might be a longer stretch for a bit, but yeah, so we're all dealing with the same kind of issues. So we're just looking at talking about other issues with across the country around what other people have to deal with, and how do we work with that stuff, right?
Yes.
We don't do much work on the trailway in the wintertime, because the Snowmobile Federation does their work in the winter, and we usually do a lot more work in the summer. The Canadian Trails Federation is a group for all trails, whether it's footpaths, horseback riding, motorcycle, ATV, UTV, skidoo, you name it. If it's a trail, then we're trying to encourage people to make better use of it and get out and enjoy it. We don't have a motorized agenda or a non-motorized agenda. It comes across the board at all levels.
So, Jamie, do you you're on the executives? Do you guys have a meeting once a year with across Canada and discuss what's happening in Ontario or BC or Nova Scotia?
Usually it's through board meetings.
Okay.
We did get together for a while, but haven't got together in the last couple of years. But we're lobbying, directly into Ottawa, looking for, a bigger national pot of funds that gets divided up amongst all the provinces to work together to do trails. I think 4 years ago we had a pot of funds, the Snowmobile Club, myself, and I think Rick sat on the committee, and we divided up trails for a third went non-motorized, a third went motorized, and a third went mixed, which is non-motorized and motorized, right?
Monday night when we were chatting, you mentioned something about different classifications of these trails, because they're motorized or multiple.
Yeah. Well, in our world, a red trail would be a motorized trail, and a green trail would be a non-motorized trail, and a yellow trail would contain both.
So that's highlighted on your map, isn't it?
Well, in our maps, and yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, depending on your lines, because the standards are different according to what uses the trail, of course, right?
Yeah.
A trail like the East Coast Trail or a trail in your local town doesn't need to be built to the same standard that the trailway would be, given there's motorized equipment, there's motorized use on it. Like alders are not an issue for a hiker, as they are for a snowmobiler or an ATVer. So in our world it does matter. Right now there are some green sections of the trailway, like St. John's, the Mount Pearl, part of CBS, but then the rest would be into your mixed trail use, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that drives our cost up so much too, is that we have to accommodate everybody, and even like when it comes to building a bridge, we have to keep in mind that there could be a horse going over the bridge, a cyclist, a hiker, an ATV, and a snowmobile. So it certainly changes things here, and it makes it, I guess, being a provincial park and the standards, it certainly makes it very expensive to do what we need to do.
Yes. Yeah, Rick, as you spoke in, it sort of reminded me of what I heard Monday night, that the decking of these bridges, depending on its use, is decked differently.
Yes,
Correct.
and for sure, we have to do it so that, like, I guess a horse can't step through it, or a cyclist don't get caught in the ruts. Where the snowmobile guys, they build theirs a bit different, so the skis go through it and the groomer. So it's all different ways to do it, and we look at things different. Like we do things different. Even like I said, the way we look at alders, and I think I made the comment on Monday night. It's we're both on the trail, we're all on the trails, but it's almost like we talk about water, where a skater uses water one way and a swimmer uses the water the other way. And when you're really down, you're looking at it. We approach things on the trail different, and how we got to do things at different standards. So it's not always red trail, green trail, yellow trail. It's always been a mix for us.
Okay.
Our bridge building on a trailway, we use full 3-inch eastern hemlock lumber, which should last 20 years. That's kind of the general line.
Yeah.
For use and abuse amongst all, because eventually it's going to derot and chip away and all that kind of stuff. But that's what we're using at the moment, and that's come from engineers and from the province to give us the maximum lifespan for the money we're going to invest.
And it also creates a problem with us. We talk about getting volunteers to help, and I can tell you, there's some fantastic groups around, and great people who want to get out and build trails and hands-on and do it. And it makes it hard for us to say yes. We don't own it. You need to have a permit, and it also got to be done to a standard. And that's what gets expensive. We got liability issues, and it's hard when somebody calls you and they're excited. They want to get out and they want to, everybody loves the trailway, and they want to get out and do their own little thing, and always good natured and well intentioned. And sometimes we're looking like a bit of a jerk because we got to say, boys, you can't do it. And it is unfortunate. But unfortunately it is the way that the trail stuff goes with us.
Yeah. So
it's like everything you do with government, better get forgiveness than permission, is it?
Yeah. Well, I hear a lot of stories that a lot of trails are getting done, and when they start pointing fingers, I'm hearing the answer, oh, the trail fairies built it. The trail fairies must have went in last night and put that in. And God love them. I wish we could have more of them.
So
It's like
I'm going to pause.
We have issues with beavers sometimes.
Yeah,
We have issues in some places with beavers, and then they kind of disappear in the fall.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to pause for a second. We just some Facebook user talked about the noise that's happening, and yeah, we know about it. It's just that there's a technical difficulty, so we'll try to rectify that. But while we're trying to work on our mics here, I'm going to we'll do our draw. This is our next draw that's coming up, Jeffrey?
Yeah. Now, not everything that's on that poster.
Oh, I thought we get the excavator and all.
Yes, there you go. Actually, this little excavator, the gentleman, the company Kinpar, based out of Grand Falls, he got these little items as remote controls, and it actually digs and dumps dirt and the full thing, the full kit and caboodle that a real one would do. This thing does is just unreal. So whoever comments on the bottom of this video today, we got a list here already, certainly. We'll go in for a draw of one of those gas cans there, those flat ones that you mount on your bike. So we got one of those donated. So the person that, or anyone that puts a comment under this video here tonight will be drawn on our next show, and we'll win one of those gas cans. But tonight we're getting ready to do a draw here now for a snow bungee. And I didn't know what a snow bungee was until recently I got involved with the started riding the Rock Adventures, and someone was talking about a snow bungee. I said, what in the world is a snow bungee, right? So we got a snow bungee we're going to give away tonight. And Elvin got the spinning wheel up there with everyone's name on there. So without any further ado, Elvin, give her a go.
I'll try to not do what I did the last time. And we'll see if we can get that full screen here. And let's see here.
And
There you go.
give her a spin. Here we go. Round and round she goes. Where she stops, nobody knows.
knows.
And the winner is... Oh, Jeff Thomas, it looks like. There you go, Jeff Thomas. Congratulations. You're the winner of that snow bungee. I hope is an item that you'll never, ever, ever need to use. There you go. Congratulations, Jeff. Get in contact with Ride Rock Adventures or Elwyn or Everett or Carol, and we'll make arrangements that you can get that snow bungee. So congratulations.
Right on. Perfect. Now, I didn't mean to interrupt your stuff, but I just wanted to give you a pause. Did anybody mute their mic to see if we could get rid of that little cracking that's going on?
Okay, let me mute mine here first. 3, 2, 1, mute.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice and quiet.
Perfect.
Greg turned his off too.
Oh,
Oh, Greg's is still off.
yeah.
Oh, Greg's is on.
Anyway, let's work at that for a little bit.
Yeah.
So on Monday night there, we had a little bit of discussion on, and we've seen some comments already about UTVs and ATVs and on the snowmobile trails, and and Rick, I believe you mentioned about the respect part of being on the trails, and it doesn't matter. Like if a groomer is going on a trail, my brother-in-law told me about. He's seen some, these like the spin outs that guys are doing with the 3-inch paddles right after the groomer has passed, and is just the respect part is not there, and we got people like was on here tonight that are coming in from Nova Scotia. They like to take their sleds and go for a run, and even some guys from a different area. Like I was up on the trail a couple of 3 weeks ago, and I met this couple, and COVID allowed them to come out, and they were going out, husband and wife, and the first time they were on the trail, and it was groomed a day prior, and the trails were just beautiful. So they want to have a good experience. There's people I know out west that want to come and go and drive across the island, and probably go down to Labrador too, and try to do some of the ATV things. But I know in Labrador it's hard to do the trails. But Rick or Greg, you were talking about working on a trail system down there or a place that they can go on an ATV for the day or whatever, right? So this whole thing, now, Rick, I'm going to come back to you a little bit, and I'd like for you to just talk about that a little bit.
You want me to talk about that now?
Absolutely.
Oh, perfect. I didn't know it was you, me or Greg. Yeah, guys, like one of the things that the other hat that I wear as president of Avalon Trailways, I'm an ATV, I guess a safety advocate, very big fan of ATVs, and being here in the Avalon, I'm an avid ATVer, although I do own snowmobiles as well. And, we talk all the time about respect. And like this respect, it goes over. Like, you got to have respect for your neighbors and respect for your neighborhood when you're on these machines. And when I'm hearing stories about out on the West Coast and, people putting in so many volunteer hours and paid hours to groom a trail, and somebody comes on it like with a machine with a 3-inch paddle or a side-by-side or an ATV, it is legal to ride an ATV on the trail in the wintertime. But because it's legal, doesn't mean that it's right. And I think that as user groups, we're all in the same tent, and we got to respect each other, and we got to use a bit of trail common sense, courtesy, and etiquette, not to undo what somebody has just went and done. Because, if it's a trailway and you're allowed to ride on it, well, somebody did put some money into that. Somebody has, put time and effort, and just to get on it, because you're allowed on it, to tear it up, it's ridiculous. And, I use the term a lot of times, social shaming. If you can't give them a ticket, take your picture, put your picture up somewhere, or talk to them. Nobody wants to be rolling around fighting on the railbed, but you certainly got to have the chat. And in this world, we all know we're dealing with it all the time with motorized equipment. There's always conflict between motorized and hiking and stuff like that, and we certainly don't need it motorized amongst motorized, and we certainly got to respect what people are doing on the trails, and use this good common sense judgment and courtesy so that we're not destroying what people are doing.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah. Sorry there, Elwin, but Rick, yeah, that's great comments there. And just want to say there's one gentleman that just commented there that he's from out of the province, and he owns the group site Crossing Newfoundland by ATV.
Yeah.
Patrick here, and he's done wonders for our trails as well. Certainly, he got all kinds of plans that if people want to go on to his site and check it out, and if they're planning on a destination across Newfoundland, he's the guy who got all the legwork already done. And I hope he'll come on the show one of these nights and talk to us about his trips across the island. And he's there from Nova Scotia. He come on last week. I didn't recognize his name at the time, but I told him to put a plug in for him if I ever sees him there again. So thanks, Rick, for that comment. And
guys, thank you, and thanks for what you guys do too. Ride the Rock has been like, I get a lot of calls, people coming across, once again in my ATV world, coming across, and I hear an awful lot, I was talking to the guys at Ride the Rock, or I saw this on Ride the Rock, can you confirm this and that? So guys, thank you too, from an ATV point and from Trailways as well. You guys have been very big ambassadors for us, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose behind all this is to make what we got here an attraction for everybody. So what's this? Crossing Newfoundland by an ATV Facebook is another good website.
Yeah, that's the guy I was just talking about, actually.
Oh,
this is not the guy, but he's just put it up there as a comment.
No, he's talking about Rick. What Rick did,
Yes,
right?
he's talking about Patrick. Yeah.
Yeah, good. What did I say? Rick, Patrick, sorry. Yeah, so you want to make another comment or two? Like we try to keep this to about an hour, and if there's some more questions in the chat there that you want to address, because you all see it, and you can have at her.
I see Derek Murphy asked a question around Halley. I don't know if Rick may have seen it or maybe you can see it in his chat about whether or not Halley's going to get repaired. Yeah, well, we are going to get there this spring or fall or summer, I should say. As soon as the season starts, that is on our list to fix that bridge, because we've pretty much done the bridges from Portabass to Cornerbrook. There's only a couple of small ones left in that neck of the woods. So yeah, hopefully we'll be in Howley to get Howley straightened out like the rest of them this coming spring.
Wonderful. And Howley is a great spot in that area for side-by-siders for sure. The sandy beaches. And
the old lift bridge is pretty cool. Yeah.
It's really, really nice area.
That lift bridge was operational up to a few years ago, and it's pretty incredible for the engineering. And we used to stop there. I went across the island there on my side-by-side there last year, and picked a great day to do that run. It was the middle of that big hurricane, but we had fun, and it was awful nice to roll in and see Howley, I can tell you that.
Right now? Yes. Oh, Craig, I was going to ask you, that new trail you guys put across from the rail bed over to, I'll say, the old Trans-Canada. Is that current, when the snow melts now, will that be currently available for side-by-side?
You're talking about, I guess...
Marianne Bog, is it? What are Marianne's Bog?
Yeah, you're talking about Wheeler's Run that comes off Colebrook Road and connects to the rail bed?
I think so, yes.
Off of Colebrook Road, Wheeler's Run is accessible by ATV or UTV.
Okay, yeah.
It's not a smooth ride.
No.
But you're not going to get stuck.
Okay.
Like there's no winching or anything needed. You can definitely drive it, and you can hook on to the rail bed. It's just where it veers off at the one point for snowmobiling. You would just go straight, and that would hook you on down the road and on to the rail bed. But yes, you can get from Colbrook Road down Wheeler's Run straight down to the rail bed.
Wonderful, yeah. See, we are off road side by side, and ATVing, so we don't want pavement, right?
Oh, no,
Exactly right.
definitely not.
One thing the NLSF is doing, I would say 90% of the clubs anyway, and we discussed this at our past 2 AGMs, because once a year we do get together for an AGM with all the clubs. And the one thing that we are doing is we're trying to make all our clubs do any work that they do ATV friendly. So when we're doing bridges now, we're trying to make it not just snowmobile friendly, but that it's ATV friendly.
Awesome.
The other trail I think that you were talking about might have been Marianne Bog, and that's closer to the Cornbrook side that they put in. That's another yes. That'll be accessible by side-by-side and ATV. Like I said, any new trails that we're putting in, we're trying to make them ATV accessible. Whereas before, if we were putting in a new trail, we'd go in and we would cut out and we'd leave stumps. Now we're trying to take it right down to the ground and get rid of the stumps and de-stump it.
I always
access for ATVs and UTVs.
Yeah, I always promote what I like the analogy that a smooth summer trail or a decent summer trail, let's say, makes a great winter trail, right?
Yes. You don't need as much snow to fall.
Exactly.
The stumps are.
It's a difference of 6 inches of snow and 2 feet, is right that you need.
I think Jeffrey, you should be driving on where there's snow, so when you do fall out of your ATV or your UTV, it won't hurt so much.
Very true.
I think that was going to come up somewhere along the way.
Well, Jeffrey, and a side note, I'm also a safety instructor, so if you're falling out of your machine, you get in touch with me.
Listen, he needs all the help he can get.
There's guys like him, keeps guys like me busy.
Yeah.
Rick, did you see that video where I fell on the bike?
No, I never.
Yeah, you got to see it. We only had the bike for about 2 weeks, I guess. And I was flying the drone. The wife was driving, certainly. And I took off my seatbelt, basically, which you shouldn't do. Never take your seatbelt off. And this little plastic clip that's on that used to be on those doors, those mesh doors, that can't take my weight, right? I should know the difference.
I hope Jolene Garland is not listening tonight. I just heard distracted driving and driving without your seatbelt. So you can be getting the mail.
There was a question there on the side about I didn't hear conversations about signage. So I just want to touch base on that really quick. For the last 2 years, the NLSF has started to put a push on signage. Actually, one time when Rick was here from Nova Scotia, I met with him at Dune Lodge, and that was one of his main concerns crossing the island as well was signage.
Yeah.
So the NLSF actually has put in a policy about 2 years ago where they're doing a 50-50 cost sharing up to, I believe it's $2,000 on signage for the snowmobile clubs to put up signage. So basically, if you put $1,000 worth of signs, the NLSF's giving the club $500 towards that. So it's splitting the cost. I know many snowmobile clubs across the entire island have really stepped up their game in putting up signage, right from Stephenville, Cornerbrook, Deer Lake, right across to Clarenville. St. Anthony's got awesome signage up there as well. So we're really trying to step it up on signage, and the new signage is also directional signage. So it has arrows. We're trying to get kilometers on there so that people that do come from out of province for tourism know where they're going. It's great for us to ride the trails constantly all the time. We know where to go. Half of us can do it when we're blindfolded. But some of these people that come over here and trying to get the tourist people to come over here and spend their money and have a good time, we definitely are trying to step up our game on signage. It's definitely a priority for us anyway.
Excellent.
So, Greg, what do you do down in Labrador or up in Labrador? How's your signage there?
It's not bad. We're starting to get more signage put out now. Like Craig was saying, we're starting to get a lot more people coming in visiting. We've had a couple people up from the island this year, snowmobiling around Goose Bay. Because from Goose Bay, you can hop on the Boom Trail System and go right to the north coast, Hopedale, McCovic. So yeah, we're in the process now of upgrading our signs. All of our trails are marked and signage out. For some reason, I don't know if you guys have the same problem, but for some reason, a lot of the signs walk away.
Oh, is that right, eh? So, Jeff, we were in competition again here, then.
Yeah, there you go.
And you know what? That's the same one I was going to put up.
Oh, very good.
We haven't had as much problems with signage disappearing as what we did numerous years ago, to be honest with you. It seems that there's a lot more respect from the users nowadays than there was, let's say, 5-10 years ago. I know we can leave, a lot of the clubs, we can leave brand new brooms and axes and everything in our warm-up shelters, and they're still there pretty much 4 or 5 years later until the handle gets broke or something like that. So there seems to be a lot more respect, at least here on the island, when it comes to the signage and the work that the volunteers do and the new warm-up shelters that certain clubs are building across the entire island. So years ago we had those problems, but as of late it hasn't been nearly as bad. There's still obviously a sporadic time where something does go missing or something does go wrong, but all in all, it's been a lot better.
So, Craig, I just want you to clarify for me about the warm-up shelters right now on COVID. What's happening there? Is it open now or closed or emergency only?
The warm-up shelters are closed to being used. However, they're not locked. They are open for emergency purposes. If for whatever any reason where somebody got caught in a storm or somebody's sled broke down, they were close to a shelter, by all means, they're more than welcome to go in there. The signage on the door basically states that due to COVID that they are closed, but it does also state that they are open for emergency purposes. Like I said, we left them all unlocked for that reason. We didn't want to see anybody who's in a bad situation not be able to find shelter when they need it. So they're closed due to COVID, and that's basically just because we cannot maintain the cleanliness and the hand sanitizer and wiping everything down after people leave and social distancing and all that stuff. There's a reason that they are closed, but like I said, they are open for emergency purposes if somebody needs them.
Good. There was a question that I saw something to do.
With all of ours.
Say what? Oh, okay. There was a question that was something to do with crossing the Humber.
Oh, yeah.
You guys see that question? That would probably come from Rick or Jamie there.
I don't know.
Well, of course, right now the trail is interrupted there because of, my God, back in, I guess, the late 80s when the 4-lane highway went through. And it's always been an issue trying to get something done. A great move by Corner Brook, opening up Corner Brook to get into Corner Brook, but getting out of Corner Brook is still a problem. And I guess for the locals who know the trail, it's not that big a problem. But once again, coming across and not knowing the area, a lot of us are still having to rely on someone like Conway's Towing or something to get us in there. And I've also heard, and guys, you can correct me if I'm wrong in this, because I met a guy last year when I was coming across, and they said, you come down and to get through Corner Brook and to pick up the trail again. He said he did it the year before, and he had no problem. But he went back this year to go on the same route, and where they were doing some, I guess, woods operations in there, cutting a lot of trees, the geography changed. There's a few roads that were new, and other roads were decommissioned, and he got lost. And I guess that's just the nature of when you're ATV in a woodlot area. But I don't know how easy it is to get around that now. I don't know if that was the question or not, but like I said, I know a lot of people are talking to me. They're still trying to figure out how to get through Corner Brook or get around Corner Brook.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Colin, we're at the 1 hour mark.
Yes.
And, and I'm just wondering now if we could just give each of our guests a 2-minute closing remarks, and we could caller a night. And guys,
before we do that,
Yeah.
Carol and Everett, if you want to
Yes.
ask a question, or because Jeff and I, we just kind of back and forth, right? So, so you want to,
No,
you got some
I'm
comments?
actually, no, I'm actually good. I just enjoyed what the boys were talking about there, and a lot of questions were answered. So no, it's great, and I certainly appreciate their for showing up here tonight.
No, I got nothing either. And it's great information, and it's a nice show. And thanks for showing up and supporting Ride the Rock.
Yeah, and guys that's on here, and you're watching this later, make sure you put your questions in or your comments in, whether it's on YouTube or on Ride the Rock. Just send the questions in, and we'll the boys will be watching it, so we'll try to get an answer for you and have at her. So now, Jeffrey, we can do what you suggested.
There you go.
Just a minute now, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Before you get in, letting the rest of the boys have their word, I'm going to sign off here now.
Okay. All right, Carol.
Okay.
Carol's an early riser.
Yeah. We'll talk to you later.
Right
Okay,
on.
thanks, Carol.
Yeah.
Right.
Bye-bye.
All right, there we go. So I guess we can let's start off with Jamie here. Jamie's been a little bit quiet tonight.
There you go. Yeah. Listening. No. Just, I guess what I'll just make one other point that probably people don't realize is the Trailway Council. The Trailway is part of the Trans-Canada Trail, which is part of the national network of trails that go from coast to coast to coast. So it is bigger than what we think in terms of all of that, right? I know the Trans-Canada Trail wasn't talked about. And also there are a lot of people who choose non-motorized methods. I know there's a motorized event, but so if you're out there, keep in mind there's going to be fat bikers, hikers, walkers, horseback riders in some cases. So again, it comes back to the respect piece. And there are other people who are slower than you on the trail. Just as a point of interest that I know is bicycle tourism is just as good as ATV tourism if we're coming over here and staying in hotels and spending money as you did at
Yeah, for sure.
So no, that's all pretty much all I wanted to say. And thanks for the opportunity. It's always nice to get in a different environment and for kind of chats and have a discussion for sure.
Sure, yeah.
Cool.
Thanks for coming.
We'll do this again sometime.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
just have one comment for Craig.
Yeah.
Craig, you mentioned warm-up shelters not being open. I visited in the last 2 weeks. I visited 4 or 5 different shelters in this area.
Yep.
And not one of them have had any indication that they're closed. There's no signage.
I know that we did put signage on all of them. Whether or not that signage stayed on them or not, it was taped on the doors. I know for a fact that some did have them removed by riders, or some could have got blown off in the weather or whatever. But we did have postings up on the doors. But I have heard that some of them have either been removed or have fallen off since they were released at the beginning of the season.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but we did have it up on the NLSF had it up on our Facebook page, on our website. It was all the clubs had it posted on their Facebook pages and websites as well.
Okay, thank you.
But we didn't have anybody out there, obviously, to enforce it and stuff like that. But yeah, we're just trying to rely on people. That's all.
Yeah, good.
You want me to do my closing remarks now?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
I figured since I was already going. I just want to thank you guys for having the NLSF out here, and I had a good time. Thank you for everything you guys do with Ride the Rock. You guys got a great Facebook page going, lots of information and stuff for people who are traveling around on ATV and side-by-side. I also just wanted to say thanks to all the snowmobile clubs across the island for the work they did over this past winter. Whether you're an executive or whether you're a member, just a volunteer or a member of the board or whatever you are, thank you for everything that you do. The NLSF wouldn't be what it is today if it wasn't for volunteers. I also like to thank the NLSF office staff for everything that they do. And I'd like to thank everybody who supports the NLSF just by buying a trail pass. We had another record year this year in trail pass sales. We had a record year last year. We beat that this year. We had an even better record year year this year, and we're going to hope to continue to build on that and to keep the infrastructure going, new machinery going, and put a better product on the snow every year as we move forward. So thanks for the opportunity to share that with everybody.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay. Rick.
Well, guys, to echo a lot of it, thank you very much. It's a beautiful platform to get on, just have a bit of bantering back and forth and talking and seeing what everybody else is doing. The one thing that we all who are involved, we know it's a big island. There's a lot of trails. There's a lot of stuff being done. And, a lot of people don't see the work that's being done because it is such a big area. And
Yes.
it is such I guess it's expensive. It's expensive to move forward. Like, the snowmobile guys are spending a lot of money that, we're spending a lot of money, but there's a lot of money needed. There's a lot of stuff got to be done. So, please be patient with us. I think we're all on the same page. We certainly want to make the tourism and make this a better product. Thanks to you guys for getting the word out. Like I said, you have been tremendous ambassadors. Facilitating this tonight has been great. So thanks again. Thanks to everybody what you do, and we loved it. And hopefully we did a good enough job. You get us back again later on. It was fun.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Repeat.
Yep, we can do that. Sure, no problem. And who's left there now that didn't speak?
Great.
Greg,
Yeah.
Well, guys, I want to thank you for the invite. It's good to get the word out about the trails up here in Labrador. Our season, like I said, starts from usually December until the end of March, sometimes in April. I mean, you can still go skiing here right up until the end of April, May, usually. The next couple of years, our highway going south is going to be finished paved, so we're hoping to see a lot more traffic come up from the island. And I'd like to see more people come up. I'd enjoy the trails. As was already pointed out, I mean, we all survive on Trail Pass South, so I want to thank everybody that's out buying and supporting all the clubs in Labrador and on Island.
Perfect.
And hopefully we can get back and do this again in maybe next fall.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up and say really appreciated our guests come on tonight, and this was interesting. Let us know, like I said, in May what you'd like to see again. If maybe we'll get some of the guys back again to explain something else, but just let us know, and we'll try to accommodate where we can. Anyway, good night and happy trails.